So let's talk about these the bull market phases, okay? There are 4 of them, and we just entered stage 2 of this. So let me walk through some of these, and it'll help you sort of like understand where we're at in these cycles. So stage 1 is what's called the rebirth, okay? This is the exhaustion from the bear market. It still exists. Sparks of hope pop up, then fade. A few narratives arise, but are quickly killed by apathy. Your friends in the media still focus on the bear market blow-up, so the FTX stuff, all while the prices are quietly recovering. This was 2023, right? For us that were in here paying attention, I mean, we did really, really well last year, but no one talked about it, right? And we still weren't sure. We still had kind of the anxieties. We still weren't sure what was going on, and we were still down a lot from, if you were buying at the top of last cycle. So that's stage 1. Stage 2 is excitement. This is where we are right now. The bear market has officially ended. I think that's pretty clear to everyone. Your coins are nearing all-time highs. Some have even blown past all-time highs. Everyone in crypto understands that we are officially in a bull, but it's funny, your normie friends still aren't texting you. Now, I've had a few, but definitely not as many as I had in the last cycle. So like, we're there, but it's still not fully mainstream yet. If you talk to most people that aren't in crypto, they still don't really realize that Bitcoin is as close as it is to all-time highs. And so it's this weird combination of like, you're excited and you're anxious, your stack is growing, but you feel like you don't own enough coins. I get that every single day, every single morning. Your company starts hiring, you start ordering guac at Chipotle again. Life is good, all your crypto friends are winning. This is the calm before the storm. So stage 3, this is euphoria. Everything you own blows past all-time highs. There used to be a new narrative every week. Now there's a new one daily. The private markets get crazy. VCs announce $500 million funds. They skip due diligence and just race to deploy. Every week, a new company announces their $100 million raise. We are mainstream again. Forbes, Bloomberg, CNBC, they all love crypto. And then stage 4, and by the way, we're not there yet, but this is what I'm wondering is like, are we there in China and in India and in Japan and many of these other countries that are already at all-time highs? Like, I don't know. I'm not in that market. So I don't live there. I don't have a lot of friends from there, so I can't say. But my assumption is yes. And one of the things that I remember is when the permissionless conference happened in 2023, and there was also what was the one that was in, I think it was somewhere in China, or no, it was in Singapore.
Oh, yeah.
Same time as permissionless.
Token 249.
Yes. Everyone was saying at that time, like, bull market's on. They were kind of in stage 2 at that point, right? Because they were getting close to their all-time highs then, whereas permissionless was still pretty like, what's going on? Like, so it feels like they're ahead. And I wonder if that's what's happening right now. And then just so you guys are aware, stage 4, this is the one you want to be aware of. And this is when you want to start taking profits, which is called the disconnection stage. This stage can also be described as insanity, which you will see. It will happen soon. Well, not soon, but it will happen. Nothing makes sense anymore. You have more money than you ever thought you'd have in your life. Your friend who knows nothing about crypto launches a token. He's worth hundreds of millions overnight. A crypto person buys a sports team. Justin Bieber joins a decentralized social platform. Crypto companies spend billions on marketing, and unfortunately, none of it is real. If you're not careful, your arrogance and laziness in this stage will cause for a rough 2 next years. So those are the 4 stages of the bull market. We are just entering stage 2, which is wild because that means we're still quite early. And it matches kind of the timelines we've been saying on the show for a long, long time. But just want to prepare you to understand where this is going to go in the next little bit, which there's one more tweet I have that also helps you mentally prepare to where this is going. If you were here in the bear market, then you remember how many times people tried to call the bottom during the bear market, only for price to keep going lower and lower and lower for months and months and months until no one wanted to even try to call the bottom anymore. We just gave up and we're like, what's happening, right? Well, the same thing happens during a bull market, except in the inverse. And that is these stages where people are already like, are we at the top? Is this it? Like, are we going to go much more? Are we going to speed up this cycle and it's going to end in just a couple months? I don't think so. I think the same thing is going to happen to what just happened in the bear market. We're still early in stage 2 and we've got to get through a lot of craziness before we reach that crazy top. It'll happen quick when we get to that stage 4, so you got to be careful. But things are going to move a lot more than people can wrap their heads around. I remember this happening in 2021, that disconnection phase where you're just like, nothing makes sense anymore. That's when you know that, okay, things are getting too much. So we still are a long ways from that happening.
Well, and it's interesting because we're definitely still in that phase of almost a disbelief that it's happened this fast. I think institutional money has really shown us the power of what's going on with the Bitcoin ETF and how fast that can push things to new highs. But we're still nowhere near the euphoria that will come.
Well, I remember in the last cycle, we hit the all-time highs around, I think it was November or December on Bitcoin anyway. And that was a pretty crazy grind to like get up to that 20, it was 20,000 at the time. And I remember at that point, it was like, okay, holy, that was nuts. And then in December, it just went up green every single day. It didn't stop through Christmas. My birthday's in December. So I was like, through my birthday, through Christmas, through New Year's, it just like kept going. And then in January, same thing. And you were like, what is happening? And then Ethereum went like 4x in like a week. And you were like, what just happened? And then then all of a sudden NFTs started going off. And it's like, it didn't end until November. But I remember in December, January being like, this is crazy. And there was still an entire 11 months before it finally topped. This isn't just crypto, by the way. This happens in all markets where you have these sort of blow off tops. So you have these sort of, it's all controlled by like this psychology of humans where we have greed. And I'm not going to get into that today. I've talked about that a bunch, but this is like, there's a science around these sort of like market structures. And it happened with tulips in the 1600s.
Tulips. Look at this guy. Look at this guy bringing up tulips. Tulips are beautiful. Sam bought some tulips for our house the other day. So yeah, I'm into tulips. So
he's bullish.
So look, the main takeaway here right now, I think, Kai, these are the weeks where everybody that's in the space, maybe those outside of the space, they're not feeling FOMO yet because they don't understand it. They're too distant from it. But those in the space, I can already sense a lot of FOMO, a lot of like, that like shaky excitement, like you're just like, you're looking at the prices constantly. What's your main sort of, not takeaway, but advice to everybody in the space during weeks like this?
You got to manage your emotions. I mean, we were talking about it yesterday in our meeting. We were trying to do a meeting for Web3 Academy and we couldn't get through it because prices literally were going from 60,000 to 61,000 to 62 to 63 all in like 4 minutes. So everyone was on their phones in our meeting. It was useless. We were like, I don't even know why we had that meeting. And so it's very difficult, right? And these are people that are in it every day. And so the best thing you can do is sit on your hands, do nothing. Like, thankfully, you've been here before all this started. You should be allocated already. The best thing you can do is nothing, which is so, so, so hard. But it really is the best thing you can do. It's as simple as you possibly can do it.
The simplest, but yet the toughest advice.